Hi students, Assalamu alaikum. This is Wahid Yusuf, your English teacher, with another topic, with another lecture on the topic narration. See, in the previous lecture, we discussed the term narration, and then we discussed direct speech, then we discussed indirect speech, and then I told you about something about the parts of this direct speech, in which we talked about the reporter, the reporting verb, the reporting speech, and the reported speech, and the reported speech. And after that, recapitulating in brief, after that we talked about some pointers to remember in direct speech. That is how we begin both the parts with capital letters, how both the parts begin with capital letters, that was one, how inverted commas are used, how the parts are separated with the help of comma. So these points will be discussed in direct speech, and in indirect speech we also discussed some pointers in which we discussed that no comma is used to separate one part from another, no inverted commas are used, and then the verb of reporting verb, the verb that is reporting verb, the tense of the reporting verb, sorry, that is never changed, the form of the reporting verb that is never changed in indirect speech. And as far as today's lecture is concerned, today's video is concerned, we'll start in this video. What we are going to start, I'll talk about rules of changing direct speech into indirect speech, rules of changing direct speech into indirect speech. See, when we talk about rules that help us in transforming direct speech into indirect speech, we have two kinds of rules. One is general rules, and another specific. So we have general rules and specific rules. General rules and specific rules. I'll give you a little bit detail about these rules first. Then we'll discuss them one by one, and in a very easy language and in a very easy way. I believe that you will understand them stepwise. See, as far as general rules are concerned, general rules are those rules which are applied, which are followed in every kind of sentence. For example, whether it is assertive or interrogative or imperative, optative, any other kind of sentence, these general rules are followed everywhere. These general rules are followed everywhere. And what comes under this heading general rules? We'll discuss that. We'll discuss that once I complete this one. So these general rules, they are applied, they are followed in every kind of sentence. They are followed in every kind of sentence. For example, assertive sentences follow them, and interrogative sentences follow them, optative sentences follow them, imperative sentences follow them, exclamatory sentences follow them. So all the kinds of sentences, they follow these general rules. They follow these general rules. So these rules are very important, very seminal as far as narration, as far as the transformation of direct sentences into indirect sentences are concerned. Then talking about specific rules, see, specific, the name itself tells us specific. So specific rules are which are specific to the particular sentence, which are specific to a particular sentence. For example, while we change an interrogative sentence, that, for example, we have a sentence, he said to him, why are you late? So this is an interrogative sentence. When we change interrogative sentences, from direct speech into indirect, from direct to indirect speech, certain rules are changed. Certain changes are made. But that changes are not made in assertive sentences. That changes are not made in optative sentences. In the same way, when we change assertive sentences from direct to indirect, certain rules are changed. There are some certain rules. There are some specific changes which are made, and those specific changes are not made in other types of sentences. For example, we change exclamatory sentences. There certain rules are followed. And that rules are not followed in any other kind of sentence. That is what specific rules are. So now, how we are going to do this topic, how we are going to discuss. First, I'll start with general rules. And what comes under general rules? First, reporting verb. How we change reporting verb. We'll discuss that in detail. One. Second rule is how we change tenses. Two. And third is how we change pronouns. In reported speech. And fourth rule is how certain words are changed. Words that denote time or position, how they are changed. So all these rules we'll discuss first, and after that, when we discuss all these rules, we'll come to the sentences. We'll discuss certain kinds of sentences. We'll discuss various sentences, and we'll find how many specific rules are there, what kind of specific rules are there which are applied on different kinds of sentences, which are followed in different kinds of sentences. So we shall start with general rules first, and we shall discuss them one by one, all these rules, and after that we'll come to specific rules, and we'll come to specific sentences, various sentences, different kinds of sentences we'll discuss in the later part of this topic. Changing the reporting verb according to the reported speech. See, we have four main rules here in general rules. So you should catch the sequence. You should catch the order of these rules. First, general rules. In general rules, we have four rules. Then specific rules, and in specific rules, we'll start with different sentences, and we'll change those sentences with some specific rules. But and don't forget that these rules are followed in every kind of sentence. See, the first rule of general rules is changing the reporting verb according to the reported speech. What does that mean? That this reporting verb is changed according to the reported speech. I'll give an example. I'll write two examples here so that you may understand. For example, I shall write, she said to him. I have found a house. I'll write another example. She said to him. She said to him, have you found a house? Have you found a house? See, the first sentence, that is, I have found a house. It is assertive sentence. It is assertive sentence. What? Assertive. And the second sentence, have you found a house? It is interrogative sentence. It is interrogative sentence. And the rule number 1 is the reporting verb is changed according to the reported speech. So the tone of the reported speech, the mood of the reported speech is very necessary as far as this reporting verb is concerned. As far as this reporting verb is concerned, we have to change this reporting verb according to the mood of the sentence, according to the mood of the reported speech. That is why I wrote that, changing the reporting verb according to the reported speech. In the first sentence, the first sentence is assertive, and we'll write, she told him. She told him. So this is statement. This is a statement. So this will become, say will become tell, said became told. So this we write, she told him that she had found a house. She had found a house. But look at the second sentence now. That is different from this one. That is different from this one. See, she said to him. She said to him, have you found a house? So we'll write, she asked him, because this is no more a statement now. This is a question. This is a question. These rules will also do them in specific sentences, in certain sentences. But here you should know that all the sentences, all the reporting verbs, they are changed according to the reported speech, according to the mood of the reported speech. This thing we should take in our mind, we should remember. So the second sentence, it is not a statement, it is a question. It is a question. That is why we wrote she asked. Here we wrote she told. Here we wrote she asked, because it is not, this one is a statement, so we wrote told, and this one is a question, so we wrote asked. So it will become, she asked him if he had found a house. If he had found a house. So rule number 1, as far as rule number 1 is concerned, rule number 1 talks about how reporting verb is changed, how reporting verb changes, that changes according to the reported speech, according to the mood of reported speech. So reporting verb is very necessary as far as reported speech is very necessary as far as reporting verb is concerned, because this reporting verb, it depends on this sentence. What kind of sentence this is, it depends on this. And if this is assertive sentence, it will change into, for example, told, replied, asserted. If it is interrogative, it will change differently. If it is optative, it will change differently. If it is imperative, it will change differently. So this is rule number 1. This is rule number 1. And again I am telling you that this I told you earlier that this should be in past tense. Then on only we can change certain rules regarding tenses in reported speech. That will discuss later on, but this is just a reminder. See, so rule number 1 was changing the reporting verb according to the reported speech. So reporting verb is changed according to the reported speech. This is rule number 1. Now rule number 2. Rules of changing tenses. So while we while we transform a direct speech, a direct sentence, or while we transform direct speech into indirect speech, these rules are followed. And the first rule was which we discussed, that is rule how a reporting verb is changed. How reporting verb is changed when we write a direct sentence into indirect sentence, and we write a direct speech into indirect speech. Now the second rule is rules of changing tenses. Rules of changing tenses. How tenses are changed. How tenses are changed. This is very important rule as far as the narration is concerned, because this is very important. I can see this. See, as far as we have how many tenses? 1, 2, 3. We have 3 tenses, but here we'll talk about 2 tenses first. We have present and past. We have present and past. See, we have first present simple, continuous, perfect, perfect continuous. So one is present simple, present continuous, present perfect, present perfect continuous. They are changed into corresponding tenses. What does that mean? Present simple is changed into past simple, present continuous into past continuous, present perfect into past perfect, present perfect continuous into past perfect continuous. So present simple becomes past simple, present continuous becomes past continuous, present perfect becomes past perfect, and present perfect continuous becomes past perfect continuous. See, as far as past tenses are concerned, see, past simple, that is changed into past perfect. Past simple becomes past perfect. Past continuous, that is changed into past perfect continuous. Past perfect continuous. And as far as past perfect and past perfect continuous are concerned, they are not changing. They are not changed. See, while talking about tenses, how tenses are changed. Yes, I'll talk about exceptions as well. Exceptions in tenses. That is, exceptions means where the rule for change of tenses, the rule of changing tenses, that is not followed. That is not followed where there is exception. First, we'll discuss all these tenses, we'll change them, we'll give certain examples, and then I'll tell you certain exceptions. Exceptions means where these rules are not applied, where these rules are not followed. If there is something which is an exception, these rules are not followed. But before that, we'll discuss them, how they are changed. For example, we have a sentence, she said, I like apples. She said, I like apples. What kind of sentence is this? This is a present simple sentence. It is present simple. So the rule is present simple is changed into past simple when we change a direct speech, when we change a direct sentence into indirect sentence. So it will become, she said that she, sorry, I suppose that it was a negative side. She liked apples. She said that she liked apples. So this present continuous, it is changed into past present simple, it is changed into past simple. Past simple. So if the sentence would have been present continuous, it would have been changed into past continuous. If the sentence had been past present perfect, it would have been changed into past perfect. In the same way, present perfect continuous into past perfect continuous. So as far as present tense is concerned, that is changed into past tense. If the reported speech is in present simple, that becomes past simple. If the reported speech is in present continuous, that becomes past continuous. If the reported speech is in past perfect, that becomes present perfect, that becomes past perfect. And if the reported speech is in present perfect continuous, that becomes past perfect continuous. And as far as past tense is concerned, past simple, if the reported speech is in past simple tense, that will change, that becomes past perfect tense. And if the reported speech is in past continuous tense, that becomes past perfect continuous tense. And then 6th and 7th and 8th tense, that is past perfect and past perfect continuous tense. If the reported speech is written, is spoken, if the reported speech is in past perfect or past perfect continuous tense, so no change is made in indirect speech, because we don't have any rule for them, so they remain unchanged. So that is how these things go on. And as far as other words, for example, will becomes would, shall becomes should, can becomes could, and may becomes might. So these are the changes which are followed in tenses. So present tenses are changed into past tenses. Present simple, past simple, present continuous, past continuous, present perfect, past perfect, present perfect continuous, past perfect continuous. Then past tense, past simple into past perfect, past continuous into past perfect continuous. And as far as past perfect and past perfect continuous is concerned, they remain unchanged. And will becomes would, shall, should, can, could, may, might. And all the other verbs, all the other auxiliary verbs that are, for example, these might, could, must, should, would, they are not changed. They remain unchanged. So this thing should be remembered. And one more thing to add. I think if you want to take a screenshot, you can take. Okay. Yes, we'll write certain examples here, but before that, I'll talk about verb forms as well, so that you may understand it in a better way. See, ism or, if a sentence carries ism or as a verb, that is changed into was verb. For example, I am 5, so this am would become was a verb. Ism or have has becomes had. Have has becomes had. Have has been will become had been. So these are the changes that take place in tenses and in verb forms. So we discussed two parts now, 2 points now, 2 rules now. First one is how reporting verbs are changed, and second, how tenses are changed, how verb forms are changed. See, I'll write some 2 or 3 examples which can give us the clear vision of this. See, these are the three examples which we shall discuss, and we'll see how these tenses are changed in these sentences. How these verb forms are changed in these sentences. See, the first one. He said to him, this is the subject, reporter, reporting verb and object. And here we have this sentence, reported speech is here, that is written in present perfect tense. Present perfect. We have applied for a job. If you remember, present perfect is changed into past perfect. See, we'll write, he told him. He told him that they had applied for a job. So this is present perfect and it is changed into past perfect. Second, so this is how tenses are changed. This is one of the examples regarding tenses, regarding how tenses are changed. Second, she said to him. She told him. You are busy. She said to them. She told them that they were busy. So here tense is changed, here verb form is changed. So we have this are here and we wrote were here. See, is, am, are. It is changed into was a verb. Have, has. It is changed into had. They are changed into had. So we had this are here and we changed that are into were here. You are busy is changed into they were busy. And third one, we said to him. We told him that they would complete the task. So here will is changed into would. First sentence tense is changed, another sentence verb form is changed, and third sentence the auxiliary is changed here. So this is how different verb forms, how different tenses are changed as far as direct indirect speech is concerned, as far as transformation of direct speech into indirect speech is concerned. So this is all for today. So I conclude this lecture with this, because we'll do the rest of the things. That is rule number 1 we have completed, and this is rule number 2. We have also completed rule number 2 of general rules, but we have some exceptions. Where these rules are not followed, where the rules concerning tenses that are not followed, that are not applied. So we'll start our next lecture. With those exceptions, and then we'll move on. So with this I conclude this today's lecture. Have a nice day and Allah Hafiz.